What's up, everybody? This is Brenton Brown from Forza Tuning and Performance. And today in front of me, we have a 2018 Dodge Demon with our Stage 4R package. So I'm just gonna kind of show you all around the Demon, just talk about a few things, talk about the package. There's a lot of information already out on the Demon. They made about 3,000 of these for North America. They only made them in 2018. And it's basically specifically built for a quarter-mile car. So a lot of cool features. Obviously, they started off with the Challenger Hellcat in 2015, and it basically relatively stayed the same until in 2018 they brought out a limited edition Dodge Demon. So it has the same 6.2 liter displacement engine, but the engine is much stronger in the Demon. There's also a lot of other differences. The supercharger is bigger. Cylinder head castings, as far as flow characteristics, they're the same, but structurally they're much stronger. The internals of the engine are much stronger. There's a lot of stuff like the it's got a factory, basically like chiller system. Some of the aftermarket systems are called killer chillers or inner chillers, where basically it utilizes the car's air conditioner system to cool down the coolant for the supercharger system. So I think that's a first on any production vehicle. As far as the heat exchanger for the supercharger itself, it's much larger than a regular Hellcat. On a regular Hellcat, the heat exchanger for the supercharger is inside right here. And it's probably about this big. So on the Demon and now the Red Eye, that's basically where your chiller system is. And then the entire front, across the front of the car, has a heat exchanger basically the size of the AC condenser. Actually, the AC condenser in this car, that's kind of unique. The AC condenser is actually combined with the transmission cooler. They're actually one unit. They're subdivided internally. So that's something you don't see often. So it just has a lot of cool features. And this one has the yellow bumper guard. So I'll talk about this since this seems to be such a popular topic. They put this on the car during shipment, okay? And that's just so it doesn't get scratched up. So normally when a car comes to the dealership, they have to go through and dealer prep the car before it's ready to be sold. And so any protective stuff that they put on it, things like this, will get taken off. I think the reason why this yellow bumper guard deal became an issue is because when you ordered a Dodge Demon, okay, and they delivered it, nobody at the dealership was allowed to touch the car until the owner of the car was present. Okay, so normally if you ordered a car, it would come in off a truck. They do all their dealer prep stuff. So they take the plastic off and get it all ready for the customer to pick up. Okay, so you never see that side of it. So the Demon was different. The dealership wasn't even allowed to touch the vehicle until the owner got there. So a lot of the Demons would come in, and the ones that we have shipped straight here, where the customers had shipped them here first before they'd even drove them, they come with plastic on the seats, and there's protective film on top of the supercharger, all the stuff that the dealership would normally do. So this bumper guard would be one of those things. Kind of think that's where it started, because the dealership really wasn't allowed to take anything off the car. So I think some of the owners just kind of left them on. I'm not really sure why. A lot of people hate on it for, because it's a yellow bumper guard and it's supposed to be taken off technically. It does serve a useful purpose. The edges of right here on all the Hellcats and stuff, they all get scratched super easy. Even if you're a very careful driver, it's on every one of them. So I think some people just leave them on to keep that from scratching. I don't really know. I don't own a Demon, so I can't really say for sure. But I'll walk around and show you some cool things on this car. Obviously, we've got this huge ram air hood, and it is functional. It's not just for looks. I'm going to pop the hood and I'm going to show you. It's got the same basic front end style, but inside the headlight right here on the Hellcat, this side was open and that side had a plug in it to close it off. So on the Demon, they had both of them open. This goes into the air box. That side just allows additional air to go into the engine compartment. So let me pop the hood while we're talking about that. And here, before I pop this, let me get a close-up. Let me show you all this. This is actually a known issue on the Demon. And if you look right here around where this plastic bezel is, the paint comes off. And it's on this one. It's on every single one of them. You'll even see some people that actually take this plastic piece out and run without it because they don't want that scratched. I think this was a recall and they do something about it at the dealership, but I'm not 100% sure. But this is evident on every single one of them. Just like it vibrates or rubs the paint right there. But if you look in through the vents, it's kind of hard to be seen on camera, but they all route through this channel and come out right here. And then you have this plastic bezel, which actually seals against this weather stripping. Now this is the same air intake system that the Red Eye uses. The hood is just a little bit, it's designed differently on the Red Eye, but all this airbox stuff is the same. All the Demons have this air grabber logo. These engine covers right here, the Demon does not come like this factory. So the owner has done this, which looks pretty good, but they're normally just black plastic. So he's had them smoothed out and painted body color. However, the valve covers underneath, the valve covers are red on the Demon as well as the engine block. So that's one way to tell them apart. Like I said, the displacement's the same. So if you looked at them, if you looked at a Hellcat engine sitting on an engine stand and you looked at a Demon one, the oil pan is stamped with a Demon head, but physically looking at them, you really can't tell. On a Hellcat and a Trackhawk, the engine block and the valve covers are orange. On a Demon, the block and the valve covers are red. And on a Red Eye, even though the Red Eye has the Demon engine, the valve covers will be black on a Red Eye. So that's a little color difference. Other than that, it looks pretty similar. So this has our Stage 4R package. So stock, they will have a black belt. The green belt is just a heavier duty version, and we've changed the pulley combination. So we've done our supercharger modification program. The front drive is ported and polished, has a billet hub inside of it. We do a hardened pin upgrade. Same thing as all the rest. This is our custom pulley. This is running a 285 upper pulley and a 10% overdrive dampener pulley made by ATI, and the crankshaft has been pinned. This is pretty much the pulley combination that we go with on 95% of the cars. If it is a strictly track-based vehicle, and what I mean by that is if the guy is going to basically use it as a drag strip, so he's going to take it there on a trailer, unload it, make a few passes, so he's going to be running it for 10 seconds or so at wide open throttle, shut it back off. We will drive the supercharger a little bit harder under just those circumstances, and that's on race gas only. Any other time, I do not recommend spinning the supercharger any faster than that. We've had really good luck with no failures, doing it that way. So we got a lot of questions on pulley sizes. That's what I would recommend. Now, some people will go with just a super small pulley on a supercharger. I don't recommend that for a couple reasons. Number one, the crankshaft needs to be pinned in these cars. So the Hellcat had an issue with the crank pulley spinning on the crankshaft, and they still didn't pin the crankshaft even on a Demon or Trackhawk or Red Eye. So a very easy modification that you can do is, if you want to increase the boost, go with an aftermarket dampener that's much better. Pin the crankshaft so you don't have that reliability issue. And then you gain belt to pulley surface area. Since you've increased the diameter of the pulley on the bottom, now you have more belt riding on the pulley. And that's important because the higher the boost, you get into more chances for belt slippage. On Stage 4 and Stage 4R, we modify the supercharger and we go with the 285 pulley. This has our crankcase breather system on it. I've talked about this in numerous other videos, design and exactly how it works. So if you want to, check out some of those videos for a more detailed explanation on how that works, or what my opinion is of catch cans and the different styles and so on and so forth. Other than that, one cool thing, I'm going to turn the lights on just so you can see inside this headlight right here. And you can see, if you look in there, it actually has the Demon head in there, which that's pretty cool. And obviously that's hollow, so that goes directly into the airbox. So not only are you getting cold air or clean, fresh air coming in from the ram air hood, it's also coming in through the headlight. Now the Hellcat also had this, so that's nothing new. So now you just have more air coming into it. So I'll turn those off. This Demon right here, we have kind of two versions of our Stage 4R package that we do. If it is like a track-based car, so it's going to be on race gas only, it's going to go with the more aggressive pulley combination, then they will do around 1,050 wheel, okay? This is a more kind of a little bit tamed down version, so this has the 285 upper pulley on it. This can run off pump gas. We recommend butane additive. So this car is around 920 wheel horsepower. Okay, so if he wanted to go to race gas and switch to a high octane or a more aggressive tune, which he has the high octane button inside, then he could take this to 1,000 plus wheel horsepower very easily. Now, this guy mostly is going to drive this car. In fact, he is from Kentucky, so he's about 1,000 miles away from us. So he actually drove this car down here to drop it off to us, and he flew home, and he's going to fly down and pick it up probably next week, and he is going to drive it all the way back home. Very aggressive pulley combination would not be well suited for a customer like this who's going to do this with the car. So we try to take that into account. What is the individual going to do with their specific car? And we try to build the car around that so it suits them. I'll show you a couple other kind of cool things on the car. Obviously, the Demon crate, you could get a crate option for $1, and it had a set of factory front skinnies. Okay, and so regular they came with these. So it's a 315 on the front and the rear. Okay, the skinny tires were in the crate. You also had a jack with the Demon logo, a snap-on torque wrench with the Demon logo. You had the crate PCM. So the crate PCM had no speed limiter on it, and the crate PCM allowed you to utilize the high octane button. So when you got the car, the little display inside, and I'll show it to you, the high octane button was not there, so it's inside the crate. So once you change the PCM and change the little control head, you have the high octane button, and you can utilize that. So what the high octane button is it will allow you to go from 800. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey man, I shipped it to the address you sent me. That's okay, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
So what the high octane button allows you to do is the car came with 808 horsepower. It has the ability to, once you change the PCM and change that control head, you can push the high octane button and you can utilize 100 plus octane fuel, okay? And you always want to, this is an important fact, you always want to run unleaded race gas in these, okay? They do have catalytic converters, and they do utilize factory wideband O2 sensors. So in my opinion, I don't think they specified this enough. Our local SRT tech at the dealer, I was having a conversation with him, and he had a couple Demons in there, and they kept warrantying out catalytic converters. And I just happened to be up there for something else, and we were talking about it, and he's like, it's like the fourth set that they put on the car. And I asked him, and he didn't know why, you know, and I asked him, I was like, is the guy running race gas in there? And he said, you know, I don't really know. And I was like, I guarantee you he's putting race gas in there, and he's putting leaded race gas, which will destroy the catalytic converters, destroy the O2 sensors. It's meant for an older car or something that's not utilizing that stuff. And, you know, he called me a couple days later and he talked to the customer, and that's exactly what the customer is doing. So I don't think that they put enough emphasis on that. Most race gas has lead in it to increase the octane of the fuel, okay? So the race gas that we recommend is VP MS109. It is an unleaded, oxygenated race fuel, okay? And you can run that all the time without damaging anything on the car. So you can put the race gas in it, push the high octane button, and it will go into an 840 horsepower mode. So all it is a little bit more aggressive ignition timing. If you do not have adequate octane in the vehicle, then it will give you a warning message on the dashboard, and it will kick it back down into 808 horsepower. Obviously, it has the Demon badge. It has 18-inch wheels, so all the Hellcats, even Trackhawks, Red Eyes, they all come with 20-inch wheels. The Demon comes with 18s. And the reason for that is pretty much mainly on the back of the car, so you can have a taller sidewall, and you get more traction like that. And so they run the tire pressure real low, and the rim actually spins and wrinkles the tire and acts like a spring that pushes it off the line. So to do that, you have to have a taller sidewall tire, okay? So they put an 18 on there to help facilitate that. And it actually comes with factory drag radial tires made by Nitto, and they actually have a Demon stamped on the tire. Nitto specifically made the tires just for the Demon. Now, as far as drag radials go, there are much better drag radial tires to utilize than the stock ones. These don't really hook up that good. So if you're pushing any kind of power, I would definitely recommend changing to a different drag radial tire. While we're over here, I thought this was kind of cool. If you look right here in the windshield, in the black, and you can actually see a silhouette of the Demon doing a burnout with smoke. So I thought that's just kind of a cool little touch that they did. As far as the inside of the vehicle, and there's really not a whole, it's kind of hard to tell. Now, when they came out with the Demon, at that time, so 2015 through 17, all the Hellcats were regular body. They had no wide body. So when they introduced the Demon was wide body only. So then you could also buy the Hellcat in a wide body. So as far as if you're comparing wide body to wide body, there's not a whole lot of differences on the outside. Obviously, the hood's a dead giveaway. The badge on the fender and the wheels, you know, the 18-inch wheels. Obviously, we have the Demon in the leather seat, and he has the red seatbelt option. which it doesn't come that way. That's something you can add. I have to move the seat back because we have some extremely short midgets at work here. Obviously, this factory Demon cell phone holder is not factory, but... So we'll look at the center display and the Demon head pops up. And I'm gonna try to get some lighting in here. So this is the control panel that I was talking about. So this control panel is in a box in the Demon crate. And what it has is this extra button right here. It looks like a gas pump, says HO, so high octane. I'll kind of show you how this works. So this is the SRT button. And when you push this, this is gonna bring up the performance pages. Now, if you all aren't familiar with a Demon or a Red Eye or anything like that, or a Hellcat, this is pretty cool. So what you have here, and I'll kind of go through this, you have different configurations. Now, the Demon is going to be different than the other ones, but you have drag mode. So this is going down the stuff. Now, we've custom tuned this transmission, so this is a little bit different, even more aggressive. When you're just driving the Demon, the Red Eye is an actual better driving car just around town. The Demon is you can drive it, but it's more suited for quarter mile stuff. And then this last message, all AC diverted to enhance intercooler performance. And what that means is now the AC for the cabin of the car is completely shut off, okay? And the reason is that chiller thing I was talking about. So now the AC system is only cooling the supercharger. And how it does that is the coolant that runs through the supercharger passes through this brick that's tied in with the air conditioning lines, okay? So the ice cold air conditioning lines, instead of going through the evaporator and dash to cool the cabin air, it's actually cooling the coolant for the supercharger system, which is a separate system from the engine coolant, okay? Custom right here, this lets you go to custom setup. Now you can custom tailor each individual setting. And this is pretty similar to the Hellcat and Red Eye. Even on the Demon, if you wanted to, just like the Hellcat, you can choose right here 500 horsepower mode. And even when we get done tuning them, even after our package, the 500 horsepower mode still works, which is kind of like the valet mode. So if you use like the black key in a Hellcat or whatever, you're limited to 500 horsepower. You have drag options. So this is kind of cool. This is going to tell you your line lock system, whether it's activated, not activated. It kind of gives you a diagram of the brake system, launch control, race cooldown. So this is showing you all kinds of different things. And this is showing you intercooler coolant temperature. And it's telling you target temperature and then your ambient air temperature. You can run the race cooldown mode. And what it does is it keeps circulating the coolant through the supercharger. And you can have like a graph right here that's showing you the temperature rise and then fall on a graph type setting right inside your car. So in all the cars, the Hellcat, Red Eye, the Demon, they give you the same, it's a little bit different, but they give you this diagram of the car. So this is basically just tied into this custom setup. You'll see that street is the least aggressive in yellow, and then you have sport, which is in the middle, and it's orange, and then red for the most aggressive. So you can leave this and just look at this screen, or if you want to, you can back out, and it'll give you a picture of the powertrain of the car. So obviously your brakes, that's yellow. That's telling you it's the least aggressive. The transmission is orange. That's going to tell you that the transmission calibration is set in the street setting. The engine is in red. So just let me show you real quick. We go to 500 horsepower mode. Now you're going to see that the engine and everything is in yellow. Pretty cool stuff, especially for a street car. Other than that, I think this kind of sums up for a summary of the Hellcat. Obviously, it has our Stage 4R package. Talked a little bit about that. All the details of that are in numerous videos and on our website. It's www.forzatuned.com. You can see package details, pricing, stuff like that. But I just kind of wanted to go over the Demon in general and kind of show y'all some specific things. A lot of people don't know, probably heard of the Demon, but probably not ever had a chance to maybe sit in one and actually go through the different settings. So, you know, I'm a car guy, been around cars my whole life, and even stuff like this I think is cool, you know. So hopefully find it entertaining, but I think that about wraps it up. So guys, thanks for watching the Dodge Demon video, and we'll see you again later.